Thank you for being here this afternoon. We're on session number 2 with Stress Less with Mindfulness with Dr. Gigi Shamaley from Texas Agri Life Extension. So welcome, Dr. Gigi. Thank you for being a great partner of Live Active Paso. And go ahead and take the floor.
Okay, thank you, Deanna. Hi, welcome to session 2, Stress Less with Mindfulness. Today we're going to be talking about mindful walking and then thought surfing. You'll learn what that is and how to practice it. So since the last session, some of you that were here, were you able to practice? Did you have any mindful thoughts or mindful eating? And does anybody have any questions? Anything that you're curious about from the last class? And Deanna, if you can help me with the chat because I can't see it.
Yes, there's no questions.
Okay, great. Okay. If you do, you can ask at any time. We're going to go ahead and start today's class with a little practice video. So,
Welcome to your meditation.
You hear it?
I'm Dr. Robert Eric Dinnenberg, and I'll guide you through from start to finish. Mindfulness is present moment attention without judgment. For this meditation, we'll attend to our feet with mindfulness, and then we'll move on to the breath in the abdomen, and then to finish, we'll return to the feet. So let's get started. With mindfulness, start to observe your feet. Answer this question to yourself. What does it feel like to have my feet on the ground in this present moment? Explore this present moment experience of your feet. You might notice what it feels like to have your feet in your shoes, in your socks. You might observe different points of pressure presenting to different parts of your feet. And you might notice temperature. Simply observe whatever you notice. There's no right or wrong, no good or bad. Whatever you notice is okay. And anything that takes you away from this noticing is a distraction. Any thought about the future or the past, any worry or expectation, any internal dialogue or judgment, notice and let go. With forgiveness, with patience, notice and let go. Notice and let go. And shepherd your attention back to your feet. And when you're ready, let go of your feet and shift your attention to your abdomen. Here we find the home base for mindfulness of breathing. Observe what it feels like to breathe in this present moment. Explore and discover your own way of noticing your own breath. You might observe a rising of your abdomen as you breathe in, and a falling as you breathe out. Your own way of noticing your own breath might include registering an expanding feeling as you breathe in, and a deflating feeling as you breathe out. Ride the waves of your breath with your attention. Anything that takes you away from your breath is a distraction. Any thought about the future or the past, any worry or internal dialogue, any expectation or judgment, notice and let go. Notice and let go. With forgiveness, notice and let go. And time again, shepherd your attention back to your breath, back to answering this very simple question. What does it feel like to breathe in this present moment? And when you're ready to transition out of the meditation, return to your feet. This time there can be some movement in your toes, and notice what it feels like to be moving your toes in this present moment. And let this movement transition you out of the meditation. So as your fingers are moving and if you wish your body's stretching, you can transition fully out of the meditation. Thank you.
Okay, so that was a 5-minute meditation. It's a short body scan and it focuses on noticing different parts of your body as well as your breathing. So you can practice this at home anytime you start to get tense or stressed out. And it gives you an easy way to just be in a more relaxed, receptive way, in a place. So today we're going to practice. We're going to learn about mindful walking because we're not together, so we can't practice it today. You're going to learn what you can and can't control, and we will practice thought surfing to change our perspective on upsetting thoughts and situations. And then you can use this in your daily life. Now let me talk to you about mindful walking. Mindful walking is a way to practice moving without a goal or without intention. It simply means just being aware of each step and your breathing, noticing your surroundings, noticing the lights, the noises, the temperature. It can be practiced anywhere, whether you're alone, you're outside in nature, maybe even at your office or on a street somewhere. It's simply walking. It's not about the journey, about getting anywhere. It's just about you and your breathing and your steps. So how do you use it? Well, you bring awareness into your body as you begin to move. Begin walking slow, more slowly than you normally would. Just notice the sensation of your foot as it touches the ground, how it feels when you lift the other foot and swing it forward, and each step you take. Take your time. The goal is simply to pay attention. Your hands can simply be at your side, moving naturally or held in front of you or the back of your body. And mindfulness doesn't have any speed limits. You can go as slow as you need to. Find a pace that puts you at ease and calms your mind. And when your mind is calm, then you can start walking in a more slower, natural pace. And your speed might change during a period of mindful walking, different times. So dedicate your attention to the sensation of walking and try to let go of everything else. If you have emotions or thoughts that pop into your head and call you away from the attention that you're putting into walking, stop walking and attend to those thoughts. And then when they're no longer bothering you, return back to your mindful walking. There's no right experience for anybody. Just see how the experience feels to you. Whenever you notice that your mind is wandering, bring yourself back into the sensation and to be mindful of your walking. You also want to notice your posture, your sense of balance, what parts of your body are moving. Mindful walking can be very useful, extending practice in daily life as we move during the day. Where might you guys practice mindful walking? You can think about this. You can share in the chat if you'd like to. Think about when you would do it and where you might do it. And you can do it in short spurts throughout the day. So that's something for you all to keep in mind. Okay, and we need to keep perspective. We all get caught up in the swirl of our busyness, right? And we lose connection to ourselves. And if this happens, it can contribute to physical problems, emotional difficulties, spiritual emptiness. When you do get caught up in this whirlwind and you start having emotional problems or any of these things happen to you, what happens to you? Are you guys aware of your triggers? Did anybody practice last time and look at their stress triggers, the stress barometer? Were you able to pay attention to things that trigger you to become stressed out? Does anybody want to share if they practiced this last week? Well, you can look back at the video. Live Active did share that. And you can practice and look at your stress barometer. I'd like you to go through that short little handout and figure out for yourselves what stresses you out so you can recognize it before it gets out of control. And you can keep things into perspective. Also, it's important to know what fills up your tank. What makes you happy? Practice what makes you truly happy. Is it maybe walking daily? Is it sharing time with family? Is it gardening? Is it alone time? Is it giving thanks? Use mindfulness practices in a gentle, accepting attitude towards yourself and others. Mindfulness is really good medicine. We need to take care of ourselves. It's about self-care and finding out what makes you happy and do those things. And then also, this is something that we should practice is acceptance of ourselves. When we have negative thoughts, feelings, or physical sensations, even pain, because we can feel pain just because we're stressed out, without judgment, help to lessen the depression, lessen the pain, improve your quality of life, and lower your anxiety if you're accepting of those negative feelings, thoughts, and physical sensations. There is a lot of grace and acceptance. I know it's not an easy concept, but if you do embrace it, you'll be finding more peace over time. So accept these things that you're feeling. And acceptance is not a sign of weakness or giving up. It just means that you're recognizing and you're understanding that your current situation. So we want to try to change our situations, right? But if there's things that are out of our control, and we'll talk a little bit about things that are in control and out of control in a minute, we just need to accept those things also and try to move on for them, because sometimes there's things that we just can't do. And again, it's not a sign of weakness and it's not a sign of giving up. By connecting more fully to what is going on, you're going to find more effective ways to take action. It's about just slowing down. In the next slide, we're going to take a little quiz. You can do this mentally, or if you have a piece of paper, you can jot it down and take some time with this. And circle, I want you to look at and jot down or remember the numbers of items over which you believe you have control over. So do you have control over what someone else is thinking? The choices you make? How nervous you get? How I respond to other people? What other people value and care about? What I say and do in a situation? The worries that I have from time to time? The direction I want my life to take? How other people respond to my choices, express thoughts, feelings, or actions? My beliefs about other people? The choices others make? What I do when I get anxious, how often the same thoughts or images come back to my mind, how I respond to my thoughts and feelings, other people following rules and standards, whether I follow through with my commitments, what other people do, whether I follow certain rules and standards, other people liking me, if I prepare tasks and do my best, what I feel at any point, what I do with precious time on this earth, and the thoughts I have from time to time. So again, the ones you can control are things that you can control. You cannot control what other people think of you. You cannot control other people's beliefs or the choices others make. But you can control things like how nervous you get and what you do when you get anxious. And again, it goes back to doing the exercise and figuring out your stress barometer. So I encourage you guys to do that. What you can control. You can control your breathing. You can calm yourself down. You can control your self-talk. Let's try not to talk negatively to ourselves. You can control your gratitude, your mental and physical fitness, your diet. These are things you can control, and the things that we can control, we should focus on so we can reduce stress. When you take action, when you use your hands, your feet, and your mouth to reduce stress, action works. and it helps to reduce that stress. What you cannot control, usually it's the source of stress between your ears. You can't control thoughts or beliefs or judgment or perceptions. This is all brain work or cognitive activity. But when we practice mindfulness, we learn to be aware of those thoughts when they start to occur, right? And the beliefs and the judgments we're making. And we practice it daily, we can start to gain more control over them. So when we recognize that they're happening, we're aware of it and we're able to slow ourselves down and then begin to control it. So hopefully we can get to that state. We also, again, must be aware that sometimes we must accept life's challenges, right? Acceptance allows us to rest in the present. Sometimes we don't need to take any action at all, and especially not immediately. Give it some time. When we're more flexible in dealing with our thoughts and we can de-stress our life and face changes, then we can deal with them. Don't push your negative thoughts away or your feelings or physical sensations. Try to deal with them, recognize them, acknowledge them, accept them, and then in time move on. Check your expectations of yourself and of others. Don't blame yourself or others for things that we cannot control, and accept the present. Mindfulness helps us disengage from those negative thoughts. It helps us to stop replaying the same events or bad thoughts in our mind. And it does take practice. It's not going to happen overnight. It's something that you need to start doing daily and take little steps. Over time, you'll be more aware of it, and then it becomes a little bit more natural. We'll talk about thought surfing. This is a practice that you guys can do. It's a channel for intense thoughts, feelings, and memories when we practice thought surfing. So it allows us to become more comfortable experiencing our present feelings, our emotions, and our urges without judging ourselves. We practice to allow these feelings to peak and then to have them pass. Because as they say, this too shall pass, and everything does pass. And this can help us to maintain a healthy perspective. It makes more room for negative or intense feelings, thoughts, urges, and sensations. It allows thoughts and emotions to move like waves, and it creates a healthier perspective. So we should own it, we should feel it, we should acknowledge it. It peaks, and then eventually it passes. Once we're able to calm ourselves down because we recognize those signs and symptoms, and then we can be in a better place mentally that we can deal with it. It helps us find calm underneath the waves. Let me play this. It's a practice that helps us return to our center, and it helps us get back our negative thinking. So there's also a little bit of a practice that I want you to do. I want you to focus on feeling an urge. Okay, like for example, like maybe you really want a donut right now, or maybe you're back.
Dr. Gigi, sorry to interrupt, Dr. Gigi. We're having a hard time listening to the instructions because the video was going on.
It's too loud?
Yes.
Okay. So I want you to focus on a feeling or an urge. Like, for example, you want a donut right now, or maybe your back hurts really bad. Notice your sensations or thoughts. Acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I'm having the thought that, what is it? And nothing serious in your life. Breathe into that thought. Make room for that thought. And then think about it. And then think of a number from 1 to 10 to show the intensity of how upset it makes you. And then watch as the waves rise and fall. And like waves, all agitation, our urges, our thoughts will peak, and then they will pass. So think about what number it's at. Say the number again as the wave passes on. And thought surfing is all about stepping back from your thoughts. So for instance, we'll go back to that donut. You wanted that donut right now? Take some time. Think of a number about where you are with it. Catch that wave. Let it rise. Eventually it will peak and it will fall, and that urge will pass. And it's all about practicing mindfulness. So we do, again, just a review. Notice our sensations or thoughts. We say a number to ourselves to show the intensity of the upset. We breathe into that thought. We make room for it. We acknowledge it. We watch as the wave rises, crests, and falls. We notice our own sensations, our thoughts, and our urges. And then, like all waves, agitation, urge, and thought will peak and then pass. And it helps us get through stressful things. So this is another tip that you can do, and thought surfing is helpful for some people who want to practice this. Remember that autopilot is the way we typically respond to things. We are creatures of habit, and we've already established a habit of the way we respond to things and stress. Our brain is wired to go down the same pathways we've used before many times, to have those same thoughts, those same feelings, those same reactions, and to behave the same way we have before. But mindfulness is a way to get out of this trap. You know, if you're easily frustrated and anxious and irritated, maybe this will help you to slow down, recognize those feelings, and then hopefully you can get past them. The first step, again, is to notice your stress cues. Again, you can go back to that stress barometer and find out things that trigger you, like we did in that first class. And then just notice your body sensations, shift it, slow it down, be aware, and then pay attention. And then through time, over time, we can change how we react to things. We want to start with small changes, okay, when you begin. If you do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always gotten, right? So this week, I would like for you all to practice surf one thought or urge each day. Try and slow it down and try not to give in. Or try to acknowledge it, think about it, and then see about what you're going to do afterwards. Maybe you want to practice mindful walking also. Think about how many minutes you can do it this week. Maybe you want to practice for 2 or 3 days in the coming week. Set a goal for yourselves. So I challenge you to surf one thought each day and try some mindful walking. Tell somebody this is what you're going to do so you can make sure and keep it. And this is your plan for the week, but remember, it takes practice and it takes awareness. We're going to forget. Mindfulness in a nutshell. You can stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. So it's all about us learning how to deal with our stresses. Thank you. I'm going to stop my screen share now.